Hey guys, so you're thinking about starting to trade as a student. Well, here's my 2 cents on the matter on whether you should or should not, because here's the thing, trading won't be for at least 68% of you watching this. And here's why. So as a student, you probably won't have very high starting capital and have no prior trading experience, and your only goal is short-term gains. So with a small starting capital and your goal of short-term gains, you'll need to undertake a considerable amount of risk when you trade. So that means trading with multipliers or trading in very volatile markets. And with very little trading experience, the most probable outcome is you exit the market every single time with something shoved up your ass. Money will non-consensually leave your pockets at an alarming rate, with homelessness being the only light at the end of your tunnel. And now, if you're stupid enough to start to trade because you see an Instagram trader do it, for example, then here's a suicide hotline, you might need it in the future. Jokes aside, but honestly, don't buy anything from an Instagram trader because they're all scam artists and they're just trying to con you for your money. I don't care if it's a course, I don't care if it's signals especially you need to be wary about as well. Anything, literally don't buy anything from them, they're all scammers. And if you do, well, you must have been dropped as a kid or have daddy issues or something, because that's just not normal behavior and it's not okay. It's not okay, don't. However, is the high chance of you potentially losing money any reason to not have a go? In my opinion, no, and I'll get into why in a second. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Boyan. I'm a computer science student at the University of Nottingham, and I make weekly videos about uni life and money. So if that sounds like you, stay subscribed. Also, I made an Instagram for this channel. It's Busy Broke, and I'll be posting weekly, and also on my stories, I'll be posting how I make money and stuff like that more frequently than I do on YouTube, because a lot of the opportunities are kind of day in, day out things, and it's not long-term enough for me to be able to actually make a full video covering it. So yeah, follow up my Instagram. Also, I really want to hear from you guys, so shoot me a DM and we'll have a brief conversation. I've had a conversation with a couple of you already, and you're just cool people, so it's just why not? Anyways, so remember how I said it's not for 68% of you at least? Well, I didn't actually pull that number out of my ass. This is because 32% is the percentage of students that come to uni with £1,000 or more in savings. And in my opinion, if you want to start trading, the minimum investment amount you will need is £1,000. Ideally, you would need a lot more of that in savings, just in case you lose the entire 1,000, which is very unlikely. But that means you still have a cushion for you to not starve and not go homeless, basically. But £1,000 is the minimum investment. This is because if you invest any less, even if you do end up making money, it will be way, way, way below the hourly rate for minimum wage. So you're way better off just going to get a job at Asda's or something. So long story short, if you have less than £1,000, do not trade at all. I do have alternatives for you guys if you actually do want to start trading. At the end, I'll show you a way to kind of build up your bankroll to the point where you're actually able to start trading. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. Right now, the best way to make quick money, in my opinion, is to flip stuff on Gumtree or Facebook. Gumtree, in my opinion, is better because it's more saturated with older people, and they're more willing to kind of negotiate and give you better deals than younger people that kind of know the market price and are very adamant about selling at a very specific price. So you have over £1,000 saved up and you want to start trading. Well, here's the number one thing that you need to ask yourself. What trading platform are you actually going to use? Now, if you don't know, go find one. But before you commit to a single platform, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you check out the fees for their platform. This is because as a student trader, you'll probably be opening smaller positions, and also because your goal is short-term gains, you won't be keeping the positions open for very long periods of time. This means if there is any fees on that platform, it will seriously build up and eat into your profits, if not make you more likely to lose money than you actually already are. So yeah, be wary of trading platform fees. With all these hurdles in the way, why do I still say if you want to trade, you should still give it a go? Well, it's because as a student, you really have no financial responsibility unless like you're a uni mum or something, but that's like a different story and I don't think any of you watching are. So your risk tolerance is actually very high because you probably most likely have like supportive parents that can bail you out of certain situations and stuff like that. So even if you were to lose the entire £1,000, which is incredibly unlikely, most likely you'll probably like lose a couple hundred, but it'll be a very, very valuable and worthwhile learning experience, I promise you guys, even if you do end up losing money. And if you do, honestly, it's not a big deal because when I used to bet heavily, there were days where I would be down like 500 plus and there would also be days where I'd be up 500 plus. And it's just like, for me, I saw it as like a learning experience, as it really did teach me how to control my own emotions better when it comes to investing. And like, I feel like losing £500, let's say, to learn that lesson is way better than learning that same lesson 10 years down the line when like you're discussing a deal that might be tens of thousands of pounds or maybe even more. Not to mention by then you'll probably also have kids and stuff as well, so like that makes it even more difficult. Now, I've never actually lost too much money in one go trading, as even when I did actively trade cryptocurrencies, I eventually just kind of broke even after the massive crash in the Bitcoin market. That experience really taught me that trading at this age, especially day trading, isn't really worth it for me because my starting capital was too low and like I didn't have the expertise to like make it as a day trader. I suppose what I'm really trying to say is don't be afraid to lose money. Don't ever let like the fear of maybe losing a couple hundred, even a couple thousand at this age, prevent you from not pursuing a business venture that you really want to try. So if you're still curious about trading, I highly encourage you to go for it. It's a pretty fun experience and you do actually learn a lot about investing and like economics, how companies work, etc., because you'll be reading financial reports and stuff along those lines. Throw caution to the wind and forget any losses you incur along the way. Just know that like when you actually do start making real money, £2,000 is kind of insignificant anyways. It honestly annoys me to no end when like friends of mine or people I know in real life tell me or ask me, oh, I want to make money but I don't want to get a job. And then I give them all these methods and then they give me a whole list of reasons back on why they can't do it, or like, oh, this method will lose money, and it's just like, it takes money to make money if you don't want to trade your hours for it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, it is riskier, but I mean, you're not working at the end of the day. So the way I see money is like every pound that I have is like a slave for me. I send it out to go to work, and if it dies, aka I lose it along the way, then I mean, it's a slave. Who the fuck cares, right? I always keep some in reserve, so it's just like I can always pull out of my reserve and then just send it out onto the battlefield or work field or whatever you want to use for the analogy, and hopefully it captures more slaves and brings it back to me. Fuck, that was a heartless analogy. But anyways, if you guys don't have enough money to invest right now, then I highly recommend you check out my Facebook video, flipping video, which will be linked right here. Next week, I'll be making my first day in the life video because those kinds of videos are popping right now on YouTube and I want to get that views and grow my channel. So yeah, stay subscribed for that if you haven't, like this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all next week.